Hello, it is I return. And we're back from our Ironmon. Streams for like the next week-ish are probably gonna be a bit on the lighter side, in that they're gonna be less. I don't know about not quality. I mean, I hope the streams have good quality. More of, you know, words are hard. Length. That's the word that I was looking for. And we immediately get out of the lab. Hell yeah. And we have a runaway mon, so it makes up for being slow as hell. Perfect. So yeah, Pokemon Day happened. That's kind of a thing. I didn't watch all of the announcement or whatever. What I did watch was the Champions trailer and the other one, the Gen 10 trailer, Winds and Waves. It's I feel like it's so much easier to say Wind and Waves, but Winds, so whatever, it's fine. It's a little clunky, I'll fully admit. But, yeah, this stream, I mean, I don't know if people are here to hear this yet, but, because it's pretty early on. I will have spoilers in this stream. And I'm gonna say, while I normally am, pretty good, I normally like most Pokemon, I'm not a big fan of the starters. I really am not. I don't like the goddamn Angry Bird Rowlet 2.0. The dog, it's just I don't know. It's just the colors on it aren't great because it's just all orange. You know? It just feels like there isn't any other color other than orange. I guess there's a tiny bit on the top, but you can't really see that well. And I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. And then the proportions on the water starter look really weird to me. And it looks kind of ugly to me. And it's it's okay to have ugly starters or whatever. Or it's okay to be purposely ugly or whatever, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem very appealing to me. I should check the Shelgon's ability or the moves. We also got word on the starter abilities, or his Mega Gen 6 starter abilities. And it's basically, for those who don't know, it's Levitate on Mega Delphox, which makes sense. And I'm good with that. And then Protean on Mega Greninja, which I'm okay with. Maybe it would have been cool to have another ability, but Greninja already has 3 abilities, so I'm fine with it. And, you know, Protean's a pretty big part of Greninja's identity. And it's similar to, Mega Blaziken, for instance, where you have the Mega having the hidden ability. I'm fine with it. Not a big fan of giving Mega Chestnut Bulletproof, though, because it's the same thing where it's its hidden ability, right? But in this case, it's why? It's not that good of an ability. Hi, Cakes. I was just talking about the presents. I just don't like how they gave Mega Chestnut Bulletproof. I think they could have given it a different ability. Do I know what ability I would give it? I don't know. But, I think they could have done a better ability on it. The other 2 starter abilities I'm fine with, though. So, Cakes, did you see the presents? I don't know if you did or not. But I have some words to say about it. That made it sound very negative. It's only kind of negative, but it's mostly positive. I'm just not going to wait for you to respond. I'm just going to yap. Where is a level 8 Shelgon? I'll start with the... You not seeing anything? Do you want me to talk about it? There wasn't much. The big thing is that Gen 10 was revealed. And then there was a little bit of info on Champions, which is releasing this April. Where are the level 8 Shellguns? I think I've ran in... You don't worry? Okay. So, I have to say, the big negative thing... Okay, first off, it looks to be open world again, which is kind of unfortunate. But at least the visual quality actually looks okay. It looks actually kind of nice, you know? That's good. And also, they had like 5 years to work on this, probably a little bit more than that. It better be okay looking. I've run into multiple level 8 of the 10% and none of the level 45%. But, basically, I have to say I'm not a big fan of the starters. So, basically, it's this bird that... They have a second bird grass starter. And it just looks like the red Angry Bird. And I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like how they're I think Rowlet was really cool. One, because it's just like it's a good design, but also the fact that like, you know, it's the first time since Bulbasaur we've had a stage 1 or basic Pokemon that starter that had a secondary typing and a change typing. And it's like, okay, I think that's cool. We should have not make another grass type bird. To be fair, we don't know if it's gonna be what's it called? We don't know if it's gonna be flying type yet or not. At least I don't know if it will. Maybe it will. I have no idea. But I just don't like that, and I don't know. I don't like its design. This actually seems like a solid Shellgun. Yeah, this is actually runnable. But then the fire starter is like okay, but there are a couple things about the design that I just kind of don't like. It's mostly, one, the fact that the color is kind of, at least from the front, all of the exact same. It's just all that shade of orange, which I'm not like a big fan of. And then also, I don't know. I just don't like the front of it. It really reminds me of something like Zamazenta, where it's just way too front heavy. And at least on Zamazenta, it makes a lot of sense, and I actually kind of like Zamazenta's design. But it makes sense on Zamazenta because Zamazenta's a shield. This is just like a dog. So why is it like that? You know? I don't know, I'm not a big fan of it. And then the water starter, the proportions are just too extreme for my taste. If the proportions were less extreme, I would be like, yeah, okay. But I don't know, I don't like the proportions on the water starter. The eyes also look a little weird to me. Not a big fan of any of the starters. And I think that's all of the starter, or all of the new Pokemon they showed off. I'm pretty sure it was just the starters, which is interesting. Unless I missed it. But normally they also show off the box legends. And I'm surprised that they didn't. Again, unless I just missed it. So we'll see what they are. My guess is like water. I mean, the most obvious one would be water type, flying type, right? Wind, waves. Makes sense. But we'll see. I don't know. I think, though, the biggest thing is just that the graphics actually look pretty good. It is a Switch 2 game, I believe. I don't see them releasing it on Switch 1. But it looks pretty good, honestly. The graphics are solid. So, I'm happy to see that. Again, they had plenty... I'm glad that they gave them the time to make it look good. What I'm hoping is that, one, it's wrong, or I'm wrong, and it's not open world. And two, if it is open world, that they learn from the mistakes from Scarlet and Violet. I also really hope they give players options again. Like turning off EXP share and, turning off EXP share, turning set or switch mode on, you know, that kind of stuff. Because having that not be a thing is just really stupid. Yeah, the Shelgon's actually kind of good. Do I take Swift? My attack stat's not very good. I feel like I'd rather have Frenzy Plant counter. I'm going to say no to Swift. Also, Champions was released. I think you came in at the tail end of my Champions talk. Or not released. The release date was announced. Which is April. Well, it's not the date. It's just the month, I guess. But, and then the Kalos Megas, the Kalos Starter Megas abilities were kind of shown off, which were Protean for Mega Greninja, Levitate for Mega Delphox, and then Bulletproof for Mega Chestnut. I think Levitate for Mega Delphox is good. I think Protean for Mega Greninja is pretty good. Especially because it already has 3 abilities in the base form with Battle Bond. I don't think it needed anything super special for the Mega, and Protean's pretty defining part of Greninja at this point. I'm perfectly good with Mega Greninja having Protean. I'm not a big fan of Bulletproof on Chestnut, because it's a fine ability on it, but like it's not like that crazy. I don't know. Okay, cool. That's something good to know. Oh my god, I keep double-clicking the screen. Sorry about that. But yeah. I will say, I think as of the... I think Pokemon in the past few gens, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, I think they've actually had very well-designed Pokemon. There are, like, a couple of stinkers, but for the most part, I think the games have actually had really well-designed Mons. I think Gen 9 actually has some of the strongest Mons in the series, even. So I'm hoping that continues into Gen 10, but we'll see, because admittedly, I'm not a big fan of the starters. But again, we also don't know their evolutions yet. Maybe their evolutions are peak. I don't know. That's a problem that this guy took 0 damage. Oh, no. What's my answer into this? Okay, I guess I lose. Bummer. I should maybe have used my X special. Oh my god, is Fire Punch? Okay, Fire Punch is no longer disabled. Bummer. That Shelgon was actually kind of legit, though. Yeah, 96 special attack, 96 speed. It was pretty solid. Its defense was kind of low. Did it get any other special moves? No. And it evolved into an okay Dragonite. Would have gotten Blizzard from the gym. I don't think it would have made it, but it actually was solid. And that was the very first run. I got past the rival with a Blastoise on that one, so that's great. But yeah, I know that there's been a lot of talk about Champions, and more specifically about how Gen 9 is continuing for another year. I don't know. It's definitely something I'm not understanding. But I don't know why people think that, like, Smogon isn't going to adapt Champions as its main format. Or at least try it, you know? Because it's going to be somewhat similar to Gen 9, but the distribution, or the Pokemon that are available are different, and more importantly, Megas. And unlike stuff like other side games, quote-unquote, like Let's Go Pikachu EV, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Champions was made for competitive, right? And I've taken Truant from the slacking. And, like, it's literally where VGC is going to be played. So I feel like it makes sense to have that as the main thing, at least until Gen 10 comes out. I don't know. I wouldn't talk too much about it in the 1v1 room because some people might be avoiding spoilers. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it makes perfect sense for Smogon to move towards, what's it called? To move towards champions. Or at the very least have, like, parallel ladders. I think it just makes sense. And we'll see, even... something that I just thought of that is likely to happen is that Champions is going to be compatible with Gen 10. So it's going to be Gen 10 mechanics, and maybe even a lot of... maybe even the same Mons are going to be available. So, you'll see... I suppose. But I think it's extremely likely that, you know... I think it's extremely likely that Champions is going to be a thing that sticks around. And I would not be surprised if, while the mainline games are the thing, a lot of VGC will be played, even when Gen 10's released, on Champions. Especially because Champions is available on mobile, it makes it significantly more accessible for people who want to try to get into it, or maybe they can't afford a Switch 2, so they can do it on their phone, or it's just maybe easier to set things up in like a tournament setting on your phone. I don't know the details. But my point is, like, I think it's very likely to have it be like that. Nice Master Ball for Pivot. But, I don't know. Well, it's ultimately something that no one really knows what's going to happen, but I think it's very likely. Polyrath is not leaving me alone. Are you faster than me? No, you're not. But, I don't know. Let me out. There was also other things like Fire Red Leaf Green being on NSO. But it's kind of disappointing in my eyes because it doesn't have online play for some reason. It has a local multiplayer. But I feel like it was a good opportunity to try to figure out a way to make online multiplayer work for that. And it's just like, I don't know, it just feels weird to me. Also, I'm pretty sure outside of, what's it called? Arbitrary code execution, Umbreon and Espeon are just unobtainable. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure. Because there's no day-night cycle. And the only way to get those guys... I mean, to be fair, there's probably a lot of months. I don't know much about the Sevi Islands. But it's a weird thing. And also, it's like $20, which is kind of expensive. Yeah, Ace is pretty good. Ace is pretty cool. I know that they use Ace in the Fire Red Leaf Green speedruns now. I remember seeing a video on that. It's pretty cool. They do, like... It's like far-fetched knockoff mail on Mr. Mime... in a double battle, and then you do shit. I don't know how it works. But it's cool. But yeah, I don't know. It's something that I might get if I want to play through the game again. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. $20 for the official emulator is just like, whatever. Because it is just an emulator. Oh yeah, XC Gale of Darkness, true. Yeah, I played through that like a year ago, and it's really good. Is Coliseum there as well? I think Coliseum's there as well. Really? Well, I'm pivoting here anyway. But now I have to. I remember I was also gonna try to finish Coliseum. But when I was like nearing the end, I forget what the area is called, like the big tower. Right as I was in the intro of it, and then my disc just decided to stop working. So that was a bummer. So oh well, I guess. Holy, relax. Who knows, maybe Love Disc has huge power. Can you not? If I die, by the way, I will be checking if that Love Disc has huge power. Maybe I just catch it, because maybe I just accept that I'm not finding a goddamn level... Well, actually, let me check something. I want to find a level 5 Skarmory, because if I outspeed a level 5, level 6... Yeah, Skarmory's not fast enough. Maybe I just catch a fucking Love Disc. Fuck it. But... I don't know. I'm saving my Master Ball, though. Alright, surely you're huge power with good stats. Well, it has a Citrus Berry, which I'm not sure if I'm allowed to use, and also it's not huge power and has bad stats, so here we are. I wonder if it had, like, if it has 2 abilities. Cannot use that. Cannot use that. But yeah. I don't even remember what else was in the presents. I'm just gonna send Love Disc and die, probably. Or maybe I'll take a little bit more of a look at the pivots. But I'm pretty sure Puggy Wrath was way too slow, yeah. And then there was a bunch of other, like, mobile game shit. Right. As there normally is. I'm just gonna send Love Disc and die. None of the pivots are really good. I don't even know what else there is. Okay, yeah, it did not have huge power. And yeah, the pivots were kind of ass. Fair enough. Like, I guess this Doug Trio could have been something, but its special defense was way too low. And it only got a physical attack at level 17, and its magnitude, which is unreliable, so, you know. Anyway. So that's the Pokemon Presents. You know what else there is to talk about? So I know there's been a lot of discussion on old gen 1v1 no Magikarp. Dude, I played the fuck out of Magikarp Jump. Magikarp Jump fucking slaps. That game is sick. But there have been talks of bans in 1v1. I'm gonna start with, I know there's been discussion about Sleep being banned in SM. And I don't know how much of a hot take this is. In my opinion, Sleep should be banned from every, not just like 1v1 format, but in general. Obviously, I think the in general thing's definitely a hot take. I don't know if it being ban worthy in 1v1 is a hot take. But I think it's an unhealthy mechanic to have in a competitive environment. Because, like, one, you have a lot of the lower accuracy sleep stuff, but then you also have sleep turns, and it's like, there are kind of ways to make it reliable, but I think that sleep is just dumb. It's like, you can make the argument for stuff like, you know, like Smeargle, Spore stuff, and it's like, yeah, you can just, you just outspeed, you land your Spore, you spam sub, and odds are you are going to win the matchup if you're faster and they don't have any tools like Flame Charge or whatever to get past you, right? Because as long as they don't get a first turn wake up like 4 turns in a row, you should be fine. Though you might take too much damage. I don't know. We got a Mon that I have to be friends with. I don't want to be friends with this guy. Well, we'll see if he gets past the first battle. Probably not. Okay, maybe it does. Damn it, I have to run around to befriend this freaking Golbat. Because it's actually not bad. I should have gotten rid of Absorb. Technically, the correct play was to run around before fighting the rival there, but whatever. Let me out. And by it's not bad, I mean it has Ice Beam. So, you know. It is adamant, though, so I don't know. I'll take a look at my pivot options. And while I'm looking for my pivots, I'll be running around gaining friendship anyway, right? Mime time! But yeah, in my opinion, sleep should be banned in all formats. I know that there's been discussions, for instance, in the RBY Discord. I've talked to a lot of people about this, and it's kind of... A lot of the people, or a lot of the discussions that I've had... I'm just double checking all these NPCs to make sure that they aren't the ones that fucking boost my friendship. But from what I've gathered, it's kind of like if the gen was new, they would ban sleep. You know? I don't know. But I think sleep is a shitty mechanic. Nice awakening. Nice Crobat as well. And then the other thing that's very contentious right now is ADV. And in particular, Raikou and Tauros. Now, in my opinion, Raikou is fine. Raikou is healthy. And in my opinion, and also I'm in the ADV 1v1 council, so I can vouch for people. I think it's healthy. I killed that, so I guess I'm pivoting. Why did I click Ice Beam on that? It's fine. I want to catch this, though. Let me out. Anyway, oh shit. Alright, well, fair enough. Anyway, I think that Tauros, while I'm not 100% on how I feel... Wow, that's interesting Vileplume. Definitely was not winnable, the run, but that's interesting. I think Tauros is probably... I'm still not 100% sure, but I think Tauros is definitely at least somewhat problematic. The thing is, so few Mons can reliably beat both sets. It's like counter Registeel, rest Regirock, Vaporeon, and then, like, some low tiers, like Skarmory. And that's it. You know? Obviously, there are Mons that can beat one set or another. But the Mons that can beat both sets are just so few and far between. And notably, Raikou plus Tauros loses to so little things. Like, you run Raikou, you run Tauros, and then you run something that helps cover Raikou and Tauros, and then also, like, Regirock, and then you're fine. And also, I think Tauros is pretty unexplored. Yeah, I think Tauros is unexplored. So, I don't know. I think, I'm not sure, like, I'm, like, maybe, like, 55-45 on ban Tauros at the moment. But if other people are good to ban Tauros, I'm fine with it. I'm good with it. I think Tauros is a bit silly. And it's funny because RBY Tauros is also kind of contentious. But I'm less for banning Tauros in RBY because it's RBY, you know? I'm kind of down to not ban shit in RBY because it's RBY. Like, for instance, Confuse Ray. Like, obviously, if Confuse Ray gets spammed, then, yeah, I would like it banned. And, like, but realistically, there's, like, one-ish good Confuse Raymon being Lapras. Yeah, like, that's the thing. It's RBY. I'm chill with keeping the jank in RBY. Though we did ban confusion moves in GSC alongside other things like Attract and Present to decrease the luck involved, right? Because if you don't know this, Present... Here, let me get the paste spin. But Gen 2 Present is extremely weird. And the TLDR is that if it hits a special type, it does a lot of damage. If it hits a physical type, it doesn't do a lot of damage. And then also it depends on the type using it, but normal's the best. One, because even without... One, because stab, and two, because even without stab, it just does the most damage. There's the present pace bin. But yeah, it's wacky. And we kind of determined that it let Blissey kind of... Or it was just too luck-based, because it's still present, right? You still have the chance to do a lot more damage. You have the chance to heal your opponent. We deemed it not worth keeping in the metagame. I do think we maybe banned it a little bit prematurely, but what's done is done, you know? Oh, that's really funny. I'd like to see another move. I'd like to see a third move. And then we also banned all confusion moves. And we banned, Attract. And a big reason why we banned Attract, I don't know if I'd vouch for an Attract ban in other gens, so I think Attract just doesn't add anything to to the metagames. We banned Attract because Gen 2 is sexist. So unless you're running a Mon like Kangaskhan or Blissey that are always female, male Pokemon will have higher DVs. So, yeah. I want to see moves on you, Chansey. Megahorn. Blast Sprint. Maybe I just catch a Jonks. Not Jonks. I don't know. Let's see my options first. So, yeah, it was basically like Mons like Blissey could kind of just slot Attract on and just have is so much better of a matchup against like everything, because every viable, or not viable, every optimal Pokemon is male. I'm just gonna catch this because it's a Gengar and I'm a very fast Ninetales, so it might be an acceptable speed. And it's a little slow. Do I try to run this Gengar? No, it's way too slow. But yeah, I'm perfectly fine with keeping the jank in RBY. Yeah. Yeah, no, you are totally right in that. It's just, I don't know why. I mean, maybe it was just the limits of the game engine, if we want to be generous. Maybe it's just a bunch of Japanese men worked on the game and just decided to make it. Who fucking knows? But that got changed in Gen 3, so hooray. But I guess going back to Tauros is, it's not necessarily a lot of luck for Tauros, so there is some luck involved. For instance, you might think Machamp and Hariyama are good answers into it because of the combination of really strong fighting moves and also Guts to take advantage of the Toxic sets. But one, you have to win a 50-50. Like, if you click Toxic and the Machamp, or if they click Counter on Toxic, they can just kind of lose. And then if you attack and they, like, click Brick Break, not wanting to miss a Cross Chop, Banded sets live Banded Brick Break. And will just kind of win back. I badly poisoned this Chansey, meaning I can't catch it because it will die. Anyway, I can just transform. And I think that's good enough. But I don't know. I think that the big thing is Tauros. Very few mons actually reliably beat both Tauros sets. And then there are some that like fake doing it, but in reality, Tauros can just win a 50-50 and then beat them. Or like the thing is, it's just so hard to one-hit KO Tauros. You need like +1 Moltres Fire Blast to do it or something, or Overheat rather. It's just not really a thing that's really that feasible to one-shot a Tauros. So, I don't know. I guess we're doing this now. That's fun. I don't know if the friendship thing goes up if I'm not going into a battle to reset it. I don't know. We'll see. You know, I should probably run around and look for the NPC. Because allegedly there's an NPC that raises your friendship. But I don't know where they would be. Oh, there they are. Okay, I'm glad I found them. I guess I just never checked this house. Anyway, basically, I don't remember where I was going with this. Whatever, you get my point. Come on, Chansey. Oh, it's not looking good. No, what did it evolve into? It evolved into a good Lax. Damn you. Okay, well, it would have had to rely on fucking Razor Wind and Megahorn as physical attacks until it got Barrage. Okay, well, this Lax was still cracked, though. Am I wrong? This Lax is crazy if you exclude the fact that its moves are ass. It got Hyper Voice, too, later on. Oh, man. Oh, well. But yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Tauros in ADV and Sleep in SM, potentially other gens. But I think Sleep is shitty as a mechanic. Stab Feint Attack off my 6th BDF, or 6th special attack? Huge. And what else am I gonna... Oh, okay. I lived that? Cool. Why was this Cacturn low-key kind of good? Okay, it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. Anyway, in terms of... So, basically, I don't know if anyone here is interested in this, but the RBY OMPL draft, I think, is happening on Sunday at noon EST. So that's a thing. And then, of course, after that, the tour itself actually starts, which is exciting. I'm looking forward to it. It's always a fun tour. And by always a fun tour, I mean it's happened once so far, but it was fun. The one time it happened, I almost fell backwards in my chair. We're okay. And this time I'm actually playing instead of not, because last year the self-buys were, like, way too expensive. So it kind of just discouraged managers to play, and I was managing, so I just kind of didn't. This time, though, I'm not managing. I'm just not in a managerial mood. So, yeah. Come on, good stats, huge power. This actually could have been good if it had huge power. It has Stab, Sludge Bomb, and 18 speed at level 5. This would have been cracked if it had huge power. Well, it wouldn't have made it through the rival anyway. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have some ideas. Oh, yeah, also, Toxic video. We're going to work on that today. Not necessarily now, but we're going to work on it today. Cool? Cool. I got my notes for the ADV section. Speaking of Toxic Tauros. I got my notes. So, yeah. This is Sword and Shield music. This reminds me of like Psychonauts music. I fucked up. There we go. I still gotta figure out how to like make the chats in one. One so like YouTube chat can appear on the screen, and then also so it's just easier for me. Mantine. Yeah, that's just a too low BSD moment, but at least it's like, oh, that's Pedal Dance. Yeah, we're gonna work on the Toxic video today, and we're gonna work on the ADV section. And it's interesting because I've looked into ADV, and weirdly, there's a lot less toxic than I would have thought at first. Like, I do play ADV, but I could have sworn there was more toxic, and to be fair, I do think that there's a lot of potential for some random toxic mons. But also, like, if you look at the set comp, it's mostly, like, not very good mons. And then also Tauros. I do think that certain mons, especially like Raikou, can get away with running toxic, but I think that a lot of the time you have 4 move slot syndrome. Raikou definitely has a good amount of 4 move slot syndrome, where you want, you know, you want T-Bolt, you want Hidden Power, you want Calm Mind, you want Subtech Rest. Fitting in toxic there is rough, and you kind of would want to commit to it. Like, the set would probably be like toxic Subtech T-Bolt, right? But then you give up Hidden Power, which honestly isn't like that big of a deal in my opinion. More importantly, you drop Calm Mind, which actually is kind of rough because a lot of the mons, like, it's like starting an ADV, it's hard to beat rest mons with toxic. Because, like, the rest mons become much more specialized. In RBY GSC, rest mons are kind of like whatever is running it to beat whatever, you know? Like, in fucking GSC, anything will run toxic. Or anything will run rest. Well, not anything, but you got my point. A lot of things will run rest. And it's very easy to slot on things, and then you don't end up boosting, so certain toxic mons could, in theory, boost past them. Or just, like, hit them until they go down, right? And then RBY is a very similar case. And in fact, in the video, I even make a point of the fact that in RBY, it's, like, pretty simple to break past rest mons with the mechanics in the game. High crit rate, special drops, stuff like that. But in ADV, you have these bulky juggernauts. This would be good if it had a good physical attack, but I think because it doesn't, I might... No, its next move's at 15, I can't. But, yeah, I don't know. I think that ADV is the start of the inability to break through rest with toxic mons. So, it's like, okay, if you're not breaking through rest, you need to have a good reason to... Okay, fair enough. I've been boomed on. But yeah, if you're not running it to... You get what I'm saying, hopefully. I'm just really bad at words. Okay, none of these pivots were really that good anyway. Fair enough. Got that Avalug defense. What is that Avalug stat spread? Like, Jesus. Move some of the special attack to physical attack. We got Avalug. Anyway. Shit, what was I talking about? Right. Yeah, you have these bulky juggernauts. Registeel, Regirock, Vaporeon. There's more that I'm blanking on. Who will boost up and use their massive bulk alongside, rest. And setup moves like Acid Armor, Amnesia, Iron Defense, Curse. You just can't break through them once they click rest if you weren't already able to break through. It's like, it's the kind of thing where it's like, if they're resting, that means that they're not doing anything, which in certain cases can be good because then you can safely 3-hit KO them. But in this case, you either already do it and you already win, Or you don't do it, and at best you can make them sleep and then try to go for a crit. But in that case, your best bet anyway was to just go for a crit. So, you know, it's just kind of not worth it in most cases. And it's like, for instance, Raikou. Yes, you can run Toxic on it. And it does maybe help you beat through stuff. But you know what else helps you beat through stuff? You click Thunderbolt, they attack you, and then you sub down to Pattaya range, and then you Thunderbolt again, and then it kills them, you know? So really, Gen 3 is definitely the start of Toxic becoming severely outclassed and very situational. I'm not sure how to convey that, and honestly, the more and more I've been thinking about it, I think there's a world where I combine the Gen 3 section with the Gens 4 through 8 section. I'm really not sure. Right? I think that Gen 3 is a large jump from Gen 2 in that there are significantly more mechanics, stuff like more powerful moves, more powerful items, the introduction of abilities, the introduction of the EV system. There's a lot to talk about there, right? So maybe having it as its own section is good. I clicked the wrong button, but it doesn't matter. Having it as its own section would be good to introduce those topics. And also there are some Gen 3 specific things. Like, I think in my categories thing, right, I have the five categories, and Tauros doesn't necessarily fit in any of them. It could maybe fit in the Brokens category, but like kind of not really. I don't know. And notably as well is that, you know, Tauros is a mon that doesn't have, like, it obviously has Intimp, but it just relies on its natural stats. And while having offenses. Like, Tauros is kind of the last normal offense, normal not in the type, but normal as in, like, it's a normal Pokemon. You get what I'm trying to say, hopefully. A lot of legendaries. But it's the last, like, kind of average Pokemon that, like, can viably run a Toxic set without any gimmicks. Stuff like Prankster, stuff like Zygarde being broken, right? Because, for instance, if Tauros didn't have Toxic, I don't think it would be broken. It would be a good mon, but it would not be broken. Toxic introduces a lot of the problems for Tauros. So I think that it's a mon that doesn't fit into any of the categories that I laid out in the other section. And also, I think there's a lot of mechanics. I think mechanics that are mostly relevant for Gen 3. I think a big thing is Pattaya and Lychee Berries, because they encourage fast Pokemon to run Substitute. And faster Pokemon running Substitute really hurts slower Pokemon trying to use Toxic, right? It's very difficult for a slower Pokemon to use Toxic in Gen 3. Because what are you going to run into? You're going to run into a slower Pokemon that's going to be Choice Banded and outspeed or outkill. I mean, are there even slower are there slower offensive Pokemon that can get Toxic? Like, I guess Swampert, but like, it's basically you run into a slow Pokemon, it's Choice Banded, they do 1 billion damage to you. A faster Pokemon that outspeeds you and either 2-hit KOs you with banded damage or clicks sub on your Toxic. Or you run into a wall that can just wall you and click rest and not care. Right? So it's extremely difficult to be a slow Toxic user in Gen 3. Just because, what are you beating? You know? Because you would need to be something like Blissey, but even then, in that case, you'd rather run Calm Mind. You would rather devote the move slots to a more reliable strategy. Because also Toxic does, well, I guess Calm Mind does too, but Toxic does a bit more, introduces crit risk, right? So, Like, realistically, the only good Toxic user in Gen 3 is Tauros. Good as in both a really good Mon that to use Toxic, a Mon that makes use of Toxic instead of other tools actually very well. Like, for instance, you can make a case for Raikou, but Raikou would rather have other moves most of the time. And it's also a Mon that's just well ranked, right? Like, if you look at the VR, or not the VR, the set comp, besides Tauros, pretty much all of the Toxic Mons are like B- and lower. Most of them being lower. So, you know, it feels like... it's funny because, like, even just talking about it now, I did not realize how bad of a spot Toxic was in Gen 3. Maybe Toxic is just, like, only good in Gen 1 outside of certain situations. I still think it's interesting to talk about, though. And also, I've got so far. I want to finish the video. But, wait, what was the third one? Swallow. These encounters are kind of ass. I think my best bet is to go over here and look for a Steelix. But, yeah, maybe after this run, I'll go to the bathroom and then, work on the video. I could also send Loudred until it evolves at level 40. No, I'm not doing that. Maybe it evolved at, like, 30. But it's interesting. And it's just interesting to talk about to me. And I think Toxic is very... Because, like, obviously you were saying the other stream case. Toxic is a move that, from a 6v6 player's perspective, looks extremely powerful in a 1v1 setting because you cannot switch. But in reality, it's just, like, either a Mon will out-offense you or a Mon will out-stall you. And outside of, like, Gen 1, there are not many situations that it won't happen, you know? I don't know. But I think Tauros just has all of the tools to be a very strong Toxic user. It's really fast. It only has one weakness. It has Intimidate, which increases its bulk, alongside the fact that it already has very solid bulk. But I do wonder, if Tauros didn't have the threat of, like, a Choice Bandit set, would Toxic Tauros be considered good by itself? And that I'm honestly not sure on, right? Maybe. I'd love to run into the Steelix again. It was the 5th Mon. So it's good. Because obviously, like, Toxic Tauros... I'm just going to catch it even though it's level 5. Toxic Tauros threatens... or loses to a good amount of stuff, and I think the threat of the other set is what makes it good. Oh, the Steelix sucks, but I'm sending it anyway. Were there any good pivots? Looks like there wasn't. Yeah, the pivots were kind of ass. Fair enough. Alright. Here's the plan. I'm going to go to the bathroom. And when I come back, we're going to pivot to script writing. I'm just going to take care of something real quick before I forget. Let me do this. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Alright, I'm back. I return. Alright. So, I have... Sorry, that was very loud. I have my paper notes that I wrote one time in class when we were watching something that I didn't need to know. So what I have here is both Toxic and Rest are weaker. Still good, but situational. There are stronger Mons. The examples I have are Metagross and Salamence. I have items, both Choice Band being able to break through Rest, and then also Pinch Berry is one being able to break through things potentially, but more importantly, encouraging faster Pokemon to use Substitute to block Toxic. This is kind of the beginning of the fall of Toxic and Rest. Rest is kind of reserved for the super bulky setup Pokemon, like all of the Regis, Acid Armor, Vaporeon, Calm Mind, even somewhat Calm Mind, Entei, Raikou, stuff like that, right? But Rest, you know, you lost a lot of the tools from GSC, and by a lot of the tools, I mean Rest Talk, which isn't even that common, to be fair, but mostly just because things are frailer now, and then also there are more tools, like Sword Stance is more well distributed, Bulk Up, Calm Mind, Choice Band, Stronger Mon, Stronger Moves, all do a better job breaking through Rest, so Rest is kind of reserved for those super bulky Mons that's set up to make it so you can't break through them. Then, yeah, EVs make things less bulky, abilities usually make Pokemon stronger. Oftentimes, why use Toxic when you can break through things with attack power? Introduction of Trick Rest, I might omit because it's kind of just Grumpig, and Grumpig, I don't think it's gotten any usage this tour. I could be wrong. But then Tauros, who is a big exception because it's very fast, it outspeeds most Substitute users, it has Intimidate and Solid Bulk, it has one weakness, which is either the weak Brick Break or the inaccurate Cross Chop. It has a strong neutral attack and return. You have Choice Band, which deters a lot of Toxic answers, and notably, very few Pokemon can answer both Choice Band and Toxic Tauros sets. And Choice Band notably powers through Rest and has Earthquake for steals and poisons, and can run HP Ghost for Gengar. Okay, let's get started here. The question is, how do I do this transition? Transitions are hard. What am I using? It's Stream Elements, I believe. Pretty sure it's Stream Elements. Let me check. Yeah, it's an overlay on Stream Elements. I think it was this one. No, it's not that one. I should really name it. Yeah, no, it has to be this one. Here, let me test something. Okay, it is this one. Okay, cool. Let me star that so I know it's actually this one. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's not that hard. It's just something I actually have to set up. Which is a lot of things, to be fair. Okay. How do I introduce this section? I think a lot of things changed in Generation 3. The new EV system makes Pokemon either less bulky or forces Pokemon to lose out on speed or offense if they want to be bulky. The introduction of abilities boost the power of already strong Pokemon. New Pokemon like Metagross and Salamence can break through walls. new items like Choice Band, Lychee Berry, and Pitaya Berry also help. Pitaya Berry can allow Pokemon to break, to hit even harder. And setup moves like, and new setup moves like Calm Mind, Bulk Up, and Dragon Dance alongside Sword Stance, which has increased distribution. Okay, let me read this whole thing. A lot of things changed in Generation 3. The new EV system forces Pokemon to lose out on speed or offense if they want to be bulky. The introduction of abilities boosts the power of already strong Pokemon. New Pokemon like Metagross and Salamence can break through walls. New items like Choice Band, Lychee Berry, and Pitaya Berry can allow Pokemon to hit even harder. And new setup moves like Calm Mind, Bulk Up, and Dragon Dance alongside Sword Stance, which has increased distribution, make it very difficult. Actually, I kind of want to make the point that it polarizes things. All serve to polarize the role. Each Pokemon's role. Rest. With all of this new power, Rest Pokemon, alongside nerfs, alongside the Sleep Talk nerf to no longer, alongside, I don't think I need to specify the Sleep Talk nerf. I'm just going to say alongside the Sleep Talk nerf. Rest is pretty much exclusive, or Rest is reserved for very bulky Pokemon that's set up to become even bulkier. Like Acid Armor Vaporeon, Amnesia Regice, Iron Defense Regirock, I'm gonna say Acid Armor Vaporeon, Curse Regirock, Amnesia Regice, and Iron Defense Registeel. Other setup, or other more frail setup Pokemon like Raikou, like Calm Mind, Raikou, and Entei can also run Rest, but it is more situational. A lot of things changed in Generation 3. The new EV system forces Pokemon to lose out on speed or offense if they want to be bulky. The introduction of abilities, let me split these up into multiple senses. The introduction of abilities boosts the power of already strong Pokemon. Period. New Pokemon like Metagross and Salamence can break through walls. New Pokemon like, or I'm gonna say are very powerful, or have very well distributed, are very powerful. Very powerful. New items like Choice Band, Lychee Berry, and Pitaya Berry allow Pokemon to hit even harder. And new setup moves like Calm Mind, blah 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 blah, which all serve to polarize. I'm going to split this up. All of this serves to polarize each Pokemon's roles. I'm going to say roles. With all the new power alongside the Sleep Talk nerf, Rest is reserved for very bulky Pokemon that's set up to become even bulkier. I think I want to split this up into other sentences. Some examples are Acid Armor Vaporeon, Curse Regirock, Amnesia Regice, and Amnesia or Iron Defense Registeel. Other more frail setup Pokemon like Calm Mind, Raikou, and Entei can also run Rest, but it is more situational. Is there anything about Rest that I want to mention? Also, I think I want to make a different point about the EV system. The new EV system generally makes Pokemon frailer, as they must choose as... I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about this wording right here. The new EV system forces Pokemon to lose out on speed or offense if they want to be bulky. Is that the point I want to make? Maybe it just forces you to make a decision. Forces you to make a decision on where you to invest. The new EV system forces you to make a decision on where you want to invest. That doesn't sound correct. Make important choices on how to train your Pokemon. The new EV... I need to make a comment about the new EV system. Forces Pokemon who want to be bulky to give up on other stats. I think I like that. The new EV system forces Pokemon who want to be bulky to give up other stats. Give up on other stats. Yeah, I like that. Okay. That being said, so Rest is reserved, with all of this new power alongside the Sleep Talk nerf, Rest is reserved for very bulky Pokemon that's set up to become even stronger. Some examples are Acid Armor Vaporeon, Curse Regirock, Amnesia Regice, and Iron Defense Registeel. Other more frail setup Pokemon like Calm Mind, Raikou, and Entei can also run Rest, but it is more situational. How do I pivot into Toxic from here? Because I think that's all I really need to say about Rest. Despite Rest's rarity, Toxic is not very common on most Pokemon. With the influx of powerful tools, it is harder to justify Toxic on most Pokemon. It is harder to justify running a Toxic set on most Pokemon. Many choice band Pokemon can OHKO or can KO you before you can get a Toxic off. Fast Pokemon being encouraged to use Substitute to get down to Lychee or Pitaya range means more Pokemon than ever before can block Toxic. And most Pokemon just have better tools. However, there is one very powerful Pokemon that uses Toxic to be a huge meta threat. And then like Tauros transition here. While Toxic Tauros is a set you can run in Generations 1 and 2, it really shines in Generation 3. Its amazing 110 base speed allows Tauros to outrun most Pataya or most substitute Pokemon. It also has great natural bulk plus the ability Intimidate, and with only one weakness being, it also has great natural bulk and only one weakness. This weakness being fighting. However, fighting type moves are weakened by Tauros's great ability, Intimidate. Tauros is incredibly difficult to one-hit KO, and it can safely get a Toxic off, use Substitute and Protect to lower your health while gaining some HP with leftovers, and finish you off with a strong stab return once you are low enough. I may reiterate this whole section. While Toxic Tauros is a set you can run in Generations 1 and 2, it really shines in Generation 3. Its amazing 110 base speed allows Tauros to outrun most substitute Pokemon. It also has a great natural bulk and only one weakness, being fighting. However, fighting type moves are weakened by Tauros's great ability, Intimidate. Tauros is incredibly difficult to one-hit KO, and it can safely get a Toxic off, use Substitute and Protect to lower your health while gaining some HP with leftovers, and finish you off with a strong stab return once you are low enough. Tauros also has another incredibly good set, being Choice Band. Choice Banded Tauros punishes many of the answers, or of the Toxic Tauros answers, like Metagross with Earthquake, Gengar with Hidden Power Ghost, and I'm trying to think of like an example of a bulky Mon that beats Toxic, or a Mon that like normally beats Toxic, but loses to Band. Like, what mons here lose to Toxic, or or other way around, beat Toxic, lose to Banded? Maybe like Raikou? Let me calc this. I don't know. Does Raikou kill Tauros with Pataya Thunderbolt? I would assume no. Tauros, Raikou. At +1 Thunderbolt, yeah, with some bulk investment, Tauros can live, and normally runs some HP. It's a little sketchy, I'll admit. So maybe there's a better example. Does Ludi Well, Ludi, I don't know if it beats Toxic, but it definitely, well, it's iffy. I'll just say Raikou for now. And some Raikou sets with a strong choice. Well, Raikou, you'd click Earthquake. I want a mon that you click a normal move into. Maybe Zam? Yeah, I like Alakazam. Alakazam with strong normal type attacks like Return and Hyper. There's probably a better example. Let me put this here. How the fuck do you write a comment? Oh, it's right here. Look for better example. Choice Banded Tauros punishes many of the toxic Tauros answers like Metagross with Earthquake, Gengar with Hidden Power Ghost, and Alakazam with strong normal type attacks like Return and Hyper Beam. Very few Pokemon beat both Tauros sets reliably, especially if you want to avoid set guessing. Rest, Vaporeon, Acid Armor plus Rest Vaporeon, Curse plus Rest Regirock, and Counter Registeel are your best bets. Or Acid Armor plus Rest Vaporeon, Curse plus Rest Regirock, Counter Registeel, and some lower tier Pokemon like Skarmory are your best bets. Why is streaming hard? I was on the right tab. Oh my god, what am I doing? Anyway. Okay. While Tauros is really the only good, only higher tier toxic user in ADV, it is a top tier Pokemon, and it makes use of Toxic to do that. Is there anything else I want to mention? Let me read through the entire thing first. A lot of things changed in Generation 3. The new EV system forces Pokemon who want to be bulky to give up on other stats. The introduction of abilities boosts the power of already strong Pokemon. New Pokemon like Metagross and Salamence are very powerful. I don't like that sentence. Increase the power level of the metagame even further. New Pokemon like Metagross and Salamence increase the power level of the metagame even further. New items like Choice Band, Lychee Berry, and Pataya Berry can allow Pokemon to hit even harder. And new setup moves like Calm Mind, Bulk Up, and Dragon Dance alongside Sword Stance, which now has increased distribution. Let me add a now there. Can allow Pokemon to hit even harder. New setup moves like Calm Mind, Bulk Up, and Dragon Dance alongside Sword Stance, which now has increased distribution, allow Pokemon to break through walls that aren't boosting themselves. All of this serves to polarize each Pokemon's roles. I don't really cover this anymore. I think I'm good without this. All of this serves to weaken defensive play. With all this new power plus the Sleep Talk nerf, Rest is reserved for very bulky Pokemon that's set up to become even bulkier. Some examples are Acid Armor Vaporeon, Curse Regirock, Amnesia Regice, and Iron Defense Registeel. Other, more frail setup Pokemon like Calmite, Raikou, and Entei can also run Rest, but it is more situational. Despite Rest's rarity, Toxic is not very common on most Pokemon. With the influx of powerful tools, it's harder to justify running Toxic set on most Pokemon. When you can run something else. Many Choice Band Pokemon can KO you before you get a Toxic off. Fast Pokemon being encouraged to use Substitute to get down to Pitaya or Lychee. I should put Lychee or Pitaya Berry range means more Pokemon than ever before can block Toxic. And most Pokemon just have better tools. I don't want to include that last second. And many strong Pokemon like Reggie, and many strong Pokemon naturally discourage Toxic, like Registeel and Metagross's immunity, and Machamp and Hariyama Guts ability, boosting or increasing their attack when status. Many Choice Band Pokemon can KO you before you get a Toxic off. Fast Pokemon being encouraged to run Substitute to get down to Lychee or Pitaya Berry range means more Pokemon than ever before can block Toxic. And many strong Pokemon naturally discourage Toxic, like Registeel and Metagross's immunity, and Machamp and Hariyama's Guts ability, increasing their attack when statused. However, there's one very powerful Pokemon that uses Toxic to be a huge meta threat. And then transition into Tauros. And I'll have like a little transition on screen. While Toxic Tauros is a set you can run in Generations 1 and 2, it really shines in Generation 3. Its amazing 110 base speed allows Tauros to outrun most substitute Pokemon. It also has a great natural bulk and only one weakness, being Fighting. However, Fighting type moves are weakened by Tauros's great new ability, I should specify, because I want to make it more apparent that while it could be run before, it gained Intimidate, and that's a huge factor. Great new ability, Intimidate. Which is a very important part of why this wasn't run, or isn't common in earlier gens. Maybe it's a little bit on the head, but however, Fighting type moves are weakened by Tauros's great new ability, Intimidate, which is the very important part of why this isn't common in earlier gens. Tauros is incredibly difficult to one-hit KO, and it can safely get a Toxic off, you substitute and protect all your health while gaining some HP with leftovers, and finish you off with a strong stab return once you are low enough. Tauros also has another incredibly good set, being Choice Band. Choice Banded Tauros punishes many of the Toxic Tauros answers, like Metagross with Earthquake, Gengar with Hidden Power Ghost, and Alakazam with strong normal type attacks like Return and Hyper Beam. Very few Pokemon can beat both Tauros sets reliably, especially if you want to avoid set guessing. Acid Armor plus Rest Vaporeon, Curse plus Rest Regirock, counter Registeel, and some other lower tier Pokemon like Skarmory are your best bets. While Tauros is really the only toxic user really the only higher tier toxic user in ADV, it is a top tier Pokemon, and it makes great use of Toxic to do that. Okay. I feel like this is too short. I feel like I'm missing something important. I kind of want to talk about how, most notably, it's really difficult. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's fine. I'm thinking about maybe mentioning how it's really bad for slow Pokemon to run it. I wanted to take another look at the set comp. Because if we go here and we click Control X for Toxic, we have 14 results. Slash options on Raikou, Tauros, and then we go down all the way to Milo, and Flygon, and Jolteon, and Skarmory, and Crobat. I should mention Raikou. I think that's the biggest thing I'm missing here is Raikou. The question is, where do I mention Raikou? I kind of didn't leave myself a good opportunity to fit that in, huh? Raikou, who is generally considered the best Pokemon in the tier, can use Toxic well, but has a lot of other options like Calm Mind, Hidden Power, or Calm Mind and Hidden Power that it tends to prefer using. Raikou, who's generally considered the best Pokemon in the tier, can use Toxic well with its good bulk and speed. But it has a lot of other options like Calm Mind and Hidden Power that it tends to prefer using. I don't think, however, it's the correct word choice here. That being said, there is another very powerful Pokemon that uses Toxic to be a huge meta threat. Let me read the full section. Raikou, who is generally considered the best Pokemon in the tier, can use Toxic well with its good bulk and speed, but it has a lot of other options like Calm Mind and Hidden Power that it tends to prefer using. That being said, there is another very powerful Pokemon that uses Toxic to be a huge meta threat. Okay. I think, for the most part, I'm good with this. Okay. So the whole script, excluding the outro and not including the, video notes of, this... I forget what I called them, the stage directions, is a tiny bit under 7 pages. That's a pretty long script. How many words is it, out of curiosity? Yeah, almost 4,000 words. Pretty solid. Probably like a 20-ish minute video? I don't know. It's hard to gauge when I haven't done something this scripted and long in a while, right? But I'm pretty happy with this. What I'm gonna do... I will probably have some quote-unquote experts look through this. I don't want to post it in a public channel, though, because some people can be annoying. Alright, I DM'd it to a few people. It's fine. Alright, I feel very good about this, though. I guess what I'll probably end up doing... So, let me think. Today is Friday. So, tomorrow I'm going to have a family party. Which, I don't know if I talked this with you, Cakes, but it's going to be rough. It's going to be 25 people. And while I like a lot of these people, they're pretty cool, they're my cousins and stuff, it's still a lot of people. While my house is definitely a good size for my family and I, it's not necessarily a house for 25 people, and the people in my family, especially from my dad's side, are very, very loud. So, yeah. I'm going to get Fire Red Ironmon set back up, and we'll go for a bit longer. I think that's a good plan. I might grab more water, though. Yeah, I'll grab more water before we get started. Just setting everything up. There we go. All right, I'll be right back. I also gave my cat some pets. Okay, so yeah, basically no stream tomorrow. Nice favorite in the middle. And it's bad. Bummer. No stream tomorrow. Maybe a stream on Sunday, but we'll see. It's not super likely. No stream on Monday. We'll see if I stream on Tuesday. I don't know if I will be able to. And then maybe on Wednesday. And then afterwards, I'm pretty free. So then what's the plan for the video? Because here's the thing. I don't think it's the best idea to try to record voice clips on stream. What I can actually do is start working on... Well, I guess I prefer to have people look through the script. I guess here's the question. Do I want to record all the lines first before I put in the stage directions? At the very least, I want to have people look through it first, right? But do I want to record the lines before doing stage directions, or do I want to do that afterwards? I think... I don't know. It will probably just depend on what I'm in the mindset to do, right? Oh, this guy's extrasensory. Stab extrasensory, but it's just not good. And I'm getting shadow balled. This is so sad. I reset. I thought that would kill me. Oh well. But yeah. I also admittedly have a midterm that I really need to study for. It's just so stressful, and admittedly I'm kind of mentally out of the class. Like, my professor was kind of shitty to me. And it's also just a class that it's very boring. So, I don't know. It's hard. I think it's so hard to fucking study. It's so hard to do shit, man. I also didn't take my ADHD pills today because I was running low and I wanted to save them, and I wasn't sure when my prescription would come in. It came in today, but I wasn't sure if it was going to come in today. So I wanted to save them, so I don't have them. Maybe, I don't know. I'll try to study, but it's hard. This is such a slow sneasel. I did not gain any speed from the level ups. And I am minus speed nature, so that makes some sense. Oh god, running away from things are going to be so annoying. I probably end up catching something on this route just to be able to run away from things, right? I'd like to see what the other Mon is, other than Smeargle, before I make that choice. Because it might actually be something that's cracked. But I'm only finding Smeargle. Skip Bloom. I should maybe not use a move that I am like clicking the worst possible moves. Anyway, I'm gonna catch this just because I want something that's faster. So I can actually potentially run away from pivots. And this actually, I believe, has a higher BSC than Smeargle, so it's fine. .13 speed, it's workable. I will be getting hit by an Ice Beam, though, and dropping. Nice Master Ball. Where am I going? Yeah, I'm not too sure how long I'm going to stream. I'm actually feeling a little bit tired. But I'll keep going for at least a bit. Oh, yeah, another thing. I started replaying Breath of the Wild. It's been... Obviously, Breath of the Wild is like a top-tier game, right? That game is so fucking good. But it's been fun. It's been a good time. That's kind of a big reason I didn't stream yesterday, I'll fully admit that. This Lantern's like a little bit too slow, but Thunder Punch is sick. I don't know. It's too slow. I can't run this. There's no Quiver Dance in this game. Can't justify it. Altaria could be something. Raichu, probably not something. Just because it learns 0 fucking moves. It's faster than me. It's a 50-50 for it to have Truant, I guess. Fair enough. But yeah, Breath of the Wild's is peak. It's so fucking good. Okay, maybe I'll, like, after stream, take a break with Breath of the Wild and then actually fucking study. That sounds like a good idea. Can I find a level 8 Altaria, please? That'd be grand. Alright, sorry about that. I am unable to find a level 8 Altaria. That's really annoying. Give me the fluffy cloud burp. I mean, it's not terrible, but honestly, it's just because it's, like, okay. And the Raichu has not impressed me, so... I mean, I could look on the other route, but I've kind of committed to catching those. Surely it has Compound Eyes anyway, so Muddy Water plus Blaze Kick are good moves. I guess it's more that I'm worried that it's, like, doing 0 damage to me. I guess the Raichu's moves aren't terrible. I don't know, if I find another level 8 Raichu that doesn't have Truant, maybe I go for it. I don't know. Because, like, the moves are okay. It's just, I don't know the stats. Besides the fact that it's faster than me, which isn't, like, that impressive, but it is a good sign, right? I should heal. It's faster than me at level 5, which is great. Level 8. You get no moves, actually. That's crazy. That did a good chunk. Let me out. I mean, Mudshot plus Aerial Ace isn't terrible coverage. I don't think their Side Beam's that strong, though. That's the thing. I'll just catch either the first level 8 Altaria or the level 8 Raichu that doesn't have Truant. Because I know some of them don't. We'll find one eventually. There's level 8 Altaria. I am worried about the lack of damage that it's doing to me, but whatever. It is now caught. Its special defense and special attack are too low. I don't think I can run this. At the very least, let me look at the potential pivots before I commit to running Altaria or pivoting. Dragonair. Maybe I have to run this and just hope that it works out. The issue is its moves are also just kind of inaccurate. The big thing is just the low special attack, and maybe I should have seen that coming. I don't know. Maybe I try to commit to a Dragonair. The issue is that I'm, like, too fast to really speed check. Also, the attacking status is kind of bad. Maybe I just catch a level 8 Dragonair, or maybe I just send Altaria. I'm just going to send Altaria, whatever. We'll send Altaria and lose. That seems like a good plan. Yeah, I'm probably not going to stream for too much longer, because I got to help my mom out with something. Burn, huge. Next move's at 11. I'm not healing, by the way. I want that to be known. Game? You good? That's not good.